Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce, my name is Maulana. I'm from class 2 PPMB. Here I want to present about car engine. Keywords: definition car engine components, function of car engine components, and conclusion. Definition: car engine component and system in the engine play an important role in vehicle performance, so it is very important to understand. A vehicle generally has engine component in it. The engine component has the function of converting heat energy in the vehicle into motion energy. This is as well as the function of car engine components. What are the engine components in the car and what are their function? The cylinder head in the main component in a vehicle, which is look in the cylinder block at the top. The installation method is built with a gasket. The cylinder head is the main component in a vehicle, which is locked in the cylinder block at the top. The installation method is built with a gasket. Inside the cylinder head there is a mechanism called the valve train. The function of the mechanism is to adjust the position of the valve to open or close. In the component there also a combination chamber, which is usually used for the spark plug set and the valve mechanism of the 4-stroke engine. There is also a cooling cord used to cool the spark plug and valves. The cooling method is connected to the cylinder block. Cylinder block is one of the main components of a vehicle engine. This one component really needs to be maintained and cared for properly if you want your vehicle to work optimally. In the cylinder block there are several cylinders, and each cylinder has a piston at one end, while at the other end of the piston rod is connected by the crankshaft, and the up and down motion of the piston is what drives the crank. The top of this component is connected to the cylinder head, while the bottom is connected to the crank. The cylinder block is made of a strong and thick material such as cast iron. The skin of material is able to support other components such as cylinder head, piston, and other. Piston are required to have a level of resistance to strong heat temperatures and high pressure because these components must work at maximum speed. The head of the piston has a flat spade but there are also some heat to air convection. The way this component work is directly related to the combination process, and that's why the piston is also called the heart of the vehicle engine. The energy generated from this component is the power of motion. The power generated from the rise and fall of the piston will continue to the crank mechanism and continue to the wheel drive components. On the piston there is also a pin made of nickel steel. Connect rods. Piston rod. The piston rod has a function as the this push this piston rods has a function as a liaison between the piston and the crankshaft. With this connector, the energy received by the piston will be carried to the crankshaft. Furthermore, the energy will turn into rotation motion energy, which without the connecting rod, the energy generated by the engine will not be able to reach the crank and the vehicle will stand. If the vehicle loses the piston rods, the vehicle will not be able to accelerate, then the piston will be dislocated. Piston rings. In cars, piston rings have various, various functions, including keeping the piston close to the cylinder wall. The goal is so that there is no gas leakage when the engine is working. In addition, this engine component also functions to prevent the entry of oil into the combination chamber. Piston rings also have the ability to or the oil content in the cylinder walls. If there is an excess, the components of this mention are divided into their, namely the compressing ring 1, compressing ring 2, and the oil ring. Crankshaft. The crankshaft is one of the components that function to change a piston that moves crank into a rotation motion through the piston rods. The circular motion will be carried to the wheel. The crankshaft also keeps the piston moving normally. The shaft component is assisted by a connecting rod and is located at the bottom of the cylinder block in parallel engine types. There are several arrangements of the crank pins that are the same as the cylinders. The shape of the crankshaft is usually determined by the cylinder and is influenced by the ignition sequence. Oil pan. One component that is located under by cylinder block is the crankcase. The crankcase have a function a tool that hold oil as engine lubricant. If there is no lubricant in the engine, then the engine component will quickly heat up and wear out, which will eventually be damaged. The car engine component also prevent leak in the engine because the crank is bolts and give an additional gasket between the crankcase and the crankcase. Therefore, this one component becomes a very important part. Conclusion: the component that function to generate power is the engine of engine. The engine used in the fetch is an internal combustion engine. The function of the engine is to generate rotary power from the combination force of the air and fuel mixture it in. The convert the heat energy into motion energy. The energy consists of main components including cylinder head, cylinder block, carter, piston, crankshaft, flywheel, and so on. Thank you. If there is an error in the delivery or waiting, I apologize. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time.